Respect is like currency in Nigeria. And just like Naira, once you lose it, it go hard to gain them back. Today, we're going to be talking about the few things that you can do in Nigeria that will be considered as rude or disrespect, even if you didn't mean them. Welcome to another episode of Niger Culture and Vibes right here on Itele Media. The first and most important point on this list is not greeting elders. I mean, you just walked past an elder and you didn't say, "Good morning, Ma, good morning, sir." Are you kidding me? That is considered as outright disrespect in the Nigerian society, even if you honestly didn't see them or it just skipped your mind. No matter how many times you see an elder in Nigeria, it is expected that you always greet them. Not a hey, not a hi like they do in other countries, but a proper good morning with a title, sir, ma, mommy, daddy, auntie, or uncle. Let's move on to the next point. Calling someone older by their first name. How dare you call someone older by their first name? You mean someone older than you? You're calling them by their first name. You're not attaching titles. You're not calling them ma'am. You're not calling them sir. You're not calling them auntie, uncle, daddy, or mommy. This is considered as rude and outright disrespect. Don't do this. If you're in Nigeria, don't do this to a typical Nigerian. Let's move to the third point on this list. Sitting while an elder stands. Now, I remember a time at the bank where I went and the banking hall was filled with lots of people. And fortunately for me, I had a chair to sit on. Then I saw this elderly woman walking, and just out of respect, I just stood up and I gave her my seat to sit. I didn't know that someone was actually watching me. So when it was time for me to go, someone just walked up to me and told me that I was actually a good person and I was trained well because I stood up and allowed the elderly woman to sit. And I just smiled. Now, it didn't really occur to me that people actually took those things really, really seriously. Now, imagine if I didn't stand up for her to sit. Maybe her heart should actually be looking at everybody sitting down and saying to herself, these people are so disrespectful. Can they see an elderly person here? That is how much Nigerians take it very personal, and they take it as disrespect when you don't stand up for an elder to sit. So if you are in a society or an environment where you see lots of Nigerians and there is a seat which you're fortunate enough to have access to, be kind enough to get up and let an elder sit, because this will be termed as respectful and well-mannered. The first point on this list to notice, rejecting food. Rejecting food is known as outright disrespect and being rude in Nigeria. I mean, someone will just sit down and think, is it not just rejecting food? I don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. Why do I have to? Well, the thing is, it's not about rejecting the food, but about how you reject the food. You are not allowed to say no outrightly or turn down the food. You're meant to politely say, "Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma. I actually just ate," or you just collect the food, at least have a taste, even if it's 1 to 2 spoons, possibly have just half of the meal or a quarter of the plate. That way, it isn't seen as disrespectful. And you could just use the excuse of, "Oh, thank you so much, Ma. I enjoyed the meal, but I'm actually full." This is better off than actually saying that you are not interested or you do not want to eat. Interesting, right? That is Nigeria for you. The first point to note is interrupting a conversation between adults. I mean, how dare you actually jump into a conversation that two adults are having, even when it seems like you have an opinion about it or a contribution? You don't do that. Not in Nigeria and not with Nigerians. You wait for the right time to politely ask if you should say something. That is how it works around here, except you just want to be seen as someone who is rude, mannerless, and disrespectful. The sixth point is wearing caps and shoes indoors, especially around elders. This is seen as disrespect, which is why sometimes you just notice that some Nigerians automatically take off their caps, their shades, or their shoes when they're around elders. And this is actually seen as respect, more like I honor you, I respect you. Now, I don't understand the thing with this kind of culture because I really don't see any big deal in it so much, but this is Nigeria and you have to do things the Nigerian way. So when you see an elder, it is only right that you take off your cap, take off your shades, especially before you say hi, you greet them, or you have a conversation with them. If not, you'll be looked at as disrespectful or rude. Next on this list is asking, how old are you? Why should you even be asking an elder, how old are you? I mean, even generally, you will notice that people don't really like to tell you how old they are. Well, for the elders, they take it really personal and they take it as disrespectful. I mean, how can you ask me, how old am I? I'm old enough to be your auntie. I'm old enough to be your mommy. I'm old enough to give birth to someone like you. Worse still, why are you not married? These are questions you shouldn't be asking elders in Nigeria because you'll be looked at as disrespectful and rude. So respect yourself and know what to ask and who to ask it when dealing with a Nigerian in Nigeria. Amazingly, this 8 point states that crossing your legs when you're in the midst of elders, especially in churches, in gatherings, or indoors, is a sign of disrespect, and it shows that you are proud and not humble. Now, there's so many things about Nigerian culture and the way they see things that really amaze me, but you don't have any choice than to conform to these things. So when you are with elders, try to sit well, sit upright, don't slouch because it will be looked at as lazy. Don't cross your leg because it will be looked at as pride. So please, to avoid being looked at as disrespectful and someone lacking home training, ensure to comport yourself properly when you're in the midst of elders. The last point on this list is definitely not acknowledging hierarchy when you are in the midst of elders, especially in public places. Now, in churches, in your workplace, at home, in family meetings, it is believed that there is a hierarchy and there is a way things should be done. You don't speak before your elders. You don't challenge your elders. You don't talk above elders. I mean, you just have to be humble. Even when an elder is wrong, you don't outrightly rebuke them or try to make it obvious that they are wrong. Mostly when you are in public places, even privately, they tend to look at you like, who is this nitwit? Who is this young person that feels he or she is bold enough to talk to me like that? Now, abroad, you will see young children, you will see youths, you'll see teenagers telling their parents, telling older ones, Mommy, don't do this. I don't like this. I don't do this. Try that in Nigeria. Just try it in Nigeria. And you're not going to hear the last of it. They will talk about it for weeks, for months, for years. They will even remind you, except you change or they have forgotten about it. Now, these are interesting facts, right? Well, if you didn't know, now you know. So in Nigeria, you don't earn respect, you perform it. It's funny, right? I know, but that is how things are around this place. So which of these did you experience while growing up? And which of them are you currently experiencing even today in our society? Let me know in the comment section. And of course, when you see me outside, don't forget to greet me because I might not be your mate if you don't know. So thank you so much for watching this episode of Niger Culture and Vibes. I will see you all in our next episode, respectfully. Una well done. Bye.